Rev up your engine! There's a new Toyota SUV coming to America, and man, those geese are excited about it. They have camouflaged ones they're testing now. People are calling them the Toyota Corolla Cross, and they said it'll be a 2022 model, and it will be built in Alabama at that factory that is a conglomeration deal between Toyota and Mazda. It'll be a subcompact crossover, and it'll be between the CHR and the RAV4, two of the Toyotas that they're selling enough of already. They want something in between now. They figure they'll have a 1.8 liter inline 4, around 140 horsepower, and front-wheel drive CVT transmission. And it's going to have dual control for the climate control, and rear seats that recline up to just 6 degrees from almost perfectly horizontal, so you can store crap, carry stuff. Now, nobody knows what it's going to cost yet, because it's not going to be out till 2022, but now they've decided that they want something between CHR and the RAV4. It'd be price-wise, too, probably between. Using the name Corolla is probably pretty smart, because they've got a really good reputation. I'm sure a lot of people would buy them. Well, wonders never cease. The CEO of Uber says he's not happy with how long it takes people to get picked up with Ubers or the prices that they're charged for driving Ubers around. This to me is an affront. The guy's making a fortune off of Uber, right? The poor guys that drive the Ubers get the sharp end of the stick pointed at them. They gotta buy the car, have the insurance, buy the gas. And this guy's making money doing nothing, sitting on his rear end, and he's whining that they're charging too much and they're not fast enough. Sometimes it just amazes me with these rich guys. Now, they claim that they're going to spend $250 million on a one-time bonus setup to try to get people to come back and keep their drivers happy. So they're having a stimulus for their drivers of $250 million. They claim. I wouldn't bet the farm on that one, let me tell you. What these rich guys claim and what they actually do. Right, they're making money off people's shirts. They have no investment in it. The people buy their own cars, pay their own insurance. Back in Houston, I had quite a few customers that piddled with Uber, but when they found out the amount of money that they actually made versus what they were losing in the value of the car, depreciation, the gas money they spent, the insurance, that basically they were making almost minimum wage on the deal. For this guy to say, oh, he's not happy with what's going on, maybe he should get off his high horse and drive an Uber for a year or two and see how that suits him. Roman 68 says, I'm experiencing my 2015 Nissan Xterra have the code of C1115 ABS center abnormal signal. No codes to indicate which wheel it is. Any ideas? You got to go to a guy like me that has a high-level scan tool. We hook it up and we drive the car and we analyze the data. The data will show each wheel, how many miles an hour they're going, or kilometers an hour if you're in other countries. And if you see one's not working, you know, okay, that's the one that's got a problem. Or if it's got incorrect data, like 3 of them say you're going 30 miles an hour, and 1 of them says you're going 180 miles an hour, you know, that particular one's broken. You can't just guess on things like that. It's all done by computers, but you can go out and get ABS computers sometimes yourself if you want to work on your own cars. And you get ones that are as little as $200 that will give you that data. And they do a pretty good job. I like these Innova scanners for a $200 one. Hey, you can get stuff that's got wheel speed on it. You can analyze all that stuff yourself if you really want to. Consider that mechanics are now charging like $140 an hour up at many places. So you spend $200 for a scan tool that can help you save money. To me, that makes sense. Slick Suburban said, should I keep my 06 Silverado? I've been watching you for years. I have a 2003 5.3 Suburban that doesn't have a deactivation system. I also have a 2006 Z71 that had to replace the engine after that crappy deactivation system broke. My question is, what do you think I should do? I'd like to sell one, but which one should I sell and which one should I keep? Keep the 03. They were still solid built then. It doesn't have that deactivation crap. And really, back in 03, they were making much better vehicles than they are today. And you'd notice even the difference between that and the one you have that's slightly newer one, the engine blew up already. That just shows you the quality of GM has been going. Probably the last really good year they made is 2003, so I'd keep that one. I'd get rid of the newer one. It only makes sense because, believe me, they don't hold up over time. You did the engine. The transmission's going to go out soon. The electronics might go out soon. Keep the old one. The old ones are better made. Yeah, they get a little bit worse gas mileage, but they're all gas hogs. They're trucks. Suburban is just basically a truck with a giant SUV body stuck on top of it. Keep the old one. Little girl says, car sales business changed the mileage. I recently found out that the car that I bought had 125,000 miles taken off the odometer. I think the car lot replaced the odometer with another with less mileage to get a higher price. I know it's a federal matter and it's a felony. What should I do? I have the proof. You got proof? Get yourself a lawyer. Of course, it's fraud to do that. If it can be proved that there's inspections or whatever of that vehicle and it had 125,000 more miles than it says it has now, and they didn't tell you that it was changed, you got them by the short and curlies. Now, if you have good proof like that, generally you get a lawyer involved, they'll settle out of court. In most states that I know the laws in, it's triple damages for fraud. You could sue them for 3 times what you paid and still get to keep the vehicle. So I would ask for 3 times of what you paid for the car and say, if not, I'm going after you for a federal felony, and see what they say. You need to get a lawyer involved though. Once the lawyer's involved, then they start talking and they start giving money back. I mean, if push comes to shove and they'll give you all your money back, you might just want to accept that and never deal with those sleazy guys again. But you'll have to get a lawyer involved at some extent, because those guys, they never listen until the lawyer starts sending them letters and talking to them. As long as you bought it from a place that's an actual dealership, because I have seen people buying from real slimy places, and somebody like that comes along, they just go bankrupt. And then the next day there's a business in the same place with a different name, but the same guy owns it. So make sure it's a registered business before you even start doing anything. Rebel R66 says, I got a 2016 Civic 4-door and I cracked the windshield bad, changing the wiper blades. Huge fail, I know. Anyway, I got multiple quotes from companies from $300 and one said $165 to replace it. Would it be a bad idea to tape the cheaper quote? Windshield glass is made all over the place. The cheaper one, I guarantee it's made in China or someplace. Some guys don't care. I've had it done on customers' cars and they have no problems, but I've had it done on other customers' cars that rocks chipped them even easier because they weren't tempered right and they were even cheaper made. If you have any experience with a cheaper company or anybody you know does, then you might say, okay, but realize one thing. Your windshield is part of the structure of your car, yes. And when they glue it in there, that keeps the roof and everything solid. So if it rolls over, it won't crush and kill you. It'll hold some structure for a while, right? If you get a real cheap windshield, odds are it's not going to be as structurally strong. Me, I'd probably go for the $300 one that's OEM, that's got the strength in it, rather than take a chance if you ever get in a big accident of the car crushing you. A lot of people don't know that the windshield's part of the structure of the car, but it is. Scott P says, are 10-year-old tires safe? My van tires have 10,000 miles Michelin, no apparent dry rot. 90% is still left of the tread. It's stored inside a heated garage. Do you think they're safe? They generally aren't good for 10 years. Here's what you can do. Get a magnifying glass and a good heavy spotlight flashlight. Look all around outside and the inside for micro cracks. If you don't see any cracks, drive it around and see how it handles. If it doesn't slip in the rain and goes okay, go right ahead. But if you see a bunch of micro cracks all around, not a good idea. Now let's say you chance it, you start driving it, but then you start getting flat tires, then just replace them right away. That'd mean that they're seeping air, they're not structurally sound anymore. But since you had it in the heated garage and it's sitting there, if there's no micro cracks, you could try it out, you know. But if you see cracks, just replace them. Michelin does make pretty good tires, so you never know. Check them out closely and then test them around a little in the rain and stuff. If you are driving around, see if they still have grip in the wet, both acceleration and when you slam on the brakes so they don't slide. Now, supposedly there's an offer on the table to buy Lamborghini. I guess the rich keep getting richer and people want to sell them cars. Now, if you didn't know it, Volkswagen owns Lamborghini. They also own Bugatti. Does it really make sense to then have 2 of these exotic car manufacturers? Probably not. And if so, guess who's going to buy them? Another rich consortium. It's called Quantum Group, and they're tendering an offer, supposedly a non-binding offer. You know, these things can go on forever. The rich boys, it's like the rich boys are playing Texas Hold'em against each other. It's a new holding company, and it has a consortium with London-based investment firm Centricus Asset Management. And what they say is, we offer a technology and lifestyle investment platform. What a load of hoo-ha! They said they offered him £7.5 billion, which is like over $8 billion for Lamborghini. The company never really made any profit. Somebody else wants to buy it from Volkswagen. It just amazes me. These people with their status, I'm bigger than you, I own more than you, my car's faster than you. You know what the rest of us say? Who cares? Who cares who the heck owns them? I'm not going to go out and buy one of those. They do make some lower price vehicles. Well, lower price compared to Ferraris, right? I guess they're trying to get more snobbish and make just the more snobbish ones. It's an asset company in London. They got nothing to do but live in $800 million apartments in London. Who knows what those ultra-rich people are doing? I'm just glad I'm not involved in that situation. They're the most superficial people on earth. And anybody would be dumb enough to buy Lamborghini, let them take it. That's what I say. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.